Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Christians Talking About Shit, the podcast where we talk about it. We talk about it, Amos. We talk about life. We talk about troubles. We talk about what's just going on in your little brain over there, right? What's eating Amos? We talk about a lot of things, don't we? A wide variety of things. Today we have a guest. I'm Ben, this is Amos, and welcome Matt Estrin. Is that how you pronounce that name?
Yeah, yep.
Estrin. Welcome Matt to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Can't wait to hang out for a bit here.
Dude, we appreciate it so much. And first off, I want to know, how in the world did you find us? Because you reached out to us.
I did reach out to you. Yeah. I've just been researching podcasts. I've got a book coming out in like 2 months and been looking for some different podcasts, people to connect with, things that make sense for me and what I'm passionate about, what's in my book, and stumbled upon you guys and love it, dude. I've listened to several episodes and love what you guys are doing. Love what you're talking about. Kind of feel like I'm a part of Amos's remodel now, don't even know what it is, but I'm invested. I'm invested in the remodel at this point.
Yeah. Well,
we're going to have to show final product.
Well, current progress is all the tiles up. Walls are primed, mudded and primed. Basically, out's done. I was tearing out a pocket door earlier before he got here because I'm like, well, this pocket door doesn't work quite right, so we might as well install a new track and everything.
Might as well.
You're there,
not?
You're texturing walls and stuff like that. You might as well just make
That's
more
awesome.
work.
I have to ask, man, because I've opened a bunch of businesses, been through a bunch of construction projects. Have you had the moment where you did something and you were like, crap, I did not expect that to happen?
Yes, but then I worked through it. So
there you go.
Yeah. We've had a few things where I'm like, oof, maybe that wasn't the right way to do that, but then sleep on it. Yeah, there's been a couple things like that, but for the most part, no. I mean, because I started laying flooring when I was 14, and
that's incredible.
Worked in construction up until I was just about 30. And so, yeah, and then plus I come from farmers who, you don't pay people to do stuff for you. You go figure it out for yourself. Right. So yeah, a lot of that. Just keep going. Although today I hit a point where I'm like, I'm not going to work much today. Like I'm, even with taking Sundays off, I was still like just bone tired, worn out. Like it's time to give the body a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So,
where are you located at?
I'm in northern Colorado, so about an hour north of Denver in a town called Greeley, Colorado. We're famous. If you've ever seen South Park, we're most famous for, there's an episode where they take Cartman, I think, to Greeley, and when he comes into Greeley, there's a sign that says Greeley, the exact opposite of Hawaii, and that's our claim to fame.
Do you feel like are you native to Colorado?
No, I'm actually Southern California, born and raised. Moved when I was 20 to Florida, North Florida. I was there for 5 years. We've been in Colorado now for 20 years or so. So I feel native enough. I'm
curious if people, automatically out in the wild associate Colorado with South Park a lot of times. You know what I mean?
More than you know, they do. And honestly, living in Greeley, way more than you know. I mean, the amount of times in my life where somebody asks where I'm from, and I say, Greeley, Colorado. No, the exact opposite of Hawaii. All right, there you go.
Are you a watcher of South Park?
I'm not, if I'm being honest. I've been to South Park, the actual South Park, Colorado. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah?
But I'm not. I just not something I've ever gotten into. I've tried a few times. I enjoy like the short little clips you can find on YouTube sometimes, and it's pretty wild. So my only like really good South Park story is South Park is in a town in Colorado called Fairplay, Colorado, which is up in the mountains. And a really good friend of mine married, his wife is from Fairplay, Colorado, and her dad is the gym teacher at the high school. And the gym teacher in South Park is modeled after her dad. So like if you see him and you see the guy, it's like the same guy. Yeah.
PC principal or?
No. That
gym teacher.
They're like principal, gym teacher, wrestling coach, I think.
Yeah. Huh. The one with the shades.
Yeah, PC principal.
Is it PC principal?
Yeah.
I used to watch it back in the day. and then it's still going on, right? Do they still do
They're
seasons?
yeah, they're sporadic though.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't keep up with it. I'll catch it. I'll catch it probably when I'm sitting in the old folks' home. You know, just reminiscing. Oh, there's Pawpaw watching his old South Park. I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man.
So what's your background?
Oh, what's my background? So, how far you want me to go back? Like childhood?
As far as you want to.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. So, kind of the big part of my background is I spent about 15 years as a pastor. 5 years before that, I worked for a nonprofit Christian sports organization called the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Yeah. I worked for their national golf ministry and had a super cool job where I was a chaplain for a professional golf tour and ran junior golf camps all over the country, and super cool. And then I got into worship ministry, did that for 15 years, and then took a total 180 and left my job at a church and opened a distillery, started making booze for a living. So there's the short version of 44 years of life right there.
Yeah. What led to that? I mean, that's obviously not normal. To leave ministry and go straight to making booze.
Yeah, I make a lot of jokes. Like after dealing with people for 15 years, I just started drinking a lot, and so no, honestly, it's a passion thing. I talk about calling a lot, and I think people can talk about calling in different ways. The way that calling has always been kind of made sense to me is that, like, when you're really passionate about something, you just feel so like I have to do that. Like it's so deep in my soul that it's something that I have to do. And that's how I felt about ministry for a long time. Like I was so passionate about the mission of the church and leading people towards Christ, and especially on the music side of things. And somewhere in my mid-30s, I would say that passion started to change a little bit. I don't know if you can see the fly that's literally attacking me right now. It's crazy. But somewhere in my mid-30s, that passion started to change a little bit. I just found myself not being as in love with what I was doing, not being as passionate about still passionate about the mission, but the way that I was involved in the mission just wasn't the same. And my wife and I actually took a trip to Napa Valley for our anniversary, wine country, and we were there for about a week, and I can remember just going and like the way that I can't even describe how I felt, but I was like, I love alcohol, and not like in a horribly inappropriate way. Like everything about it, we would go to these manufacturing facilities where they were teaching us how they manufacture wine, and then I thought that was incredible. And then we'd be in these tasting rooms where you're drinking with people, and I found it so fascinating. Like, and there's a whole discussion here, but like when you work in a church, the people that you have in your circle all look like you and sound like you and talk like you. And as much as I love that, like we're in these rooms of people that like vastly different backgrounds, and some are Christians and some are not Christians, and some are Democrats and some are Republicans. And it's like, and no one cared. Everyone was just so united over this glass of wine that we were drinking. And it was just, for me, it was like this, like breathing again. It was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I have to be a part of this industry. I have to be a part of this experience. And so that was kind of what started it for me. And then I went back, from the trip and kept working at the church, but eventually kind of the passion towards that kept happening, and eventually had an opportunity. I had a grandfather that passed away that left my wife and I with a little bit of an inheritance, and not enough to start a business, but enough to dream about it. And meanwhile, I had been manufacturing a little bit in my garage, not the most legal thing in the world.
Okay, I was about to say, you probably were.
Yeah.
I see online, all these quick, you can get, you can order a barrel, you can pour vodka in there, and, you can do a quick, either it's a different taste or a different style of alcohol or whatever. Then of course you got your brewers, your craft brew that was, I don't know, it was kind of taking off some steam about 15 years ago. Really?
Yep. Yeah.
Dad's just kind of doing that. So were you kind of messing around with that kind of stuff, or?
I was, yeah. So I came back from that trip and I was like, man, I got to learn how to make alcohol. So of the three alcohol disciplines, beer, wine, and spirits, I love spirits the most. I'm a huge whiskey fan. I'm a big bourbon collector. I'm one of those guys that chases all the rare bottles in liquor stores, and a huge fan of whiskey and bourbon. And so I thought, I'm going to learn how to make that. Bought a little 5-gallon stovetop still, looked like just this little little 5-gallon pot that you put on top of your stove, and like started to learn how to make alcohol that way. I would mash in it, ferment in it, and then I would distill in it right on top of my stove. And for about 6 months, I thought I was the coolest guy ever. Like making this half a glass of whiskey, you know, it would take me like a week to ferment and then distill it, and then I'd have like this much whiskey out of it. But I felt pretty cool because I was distilling, and then eventually moved up to a bigger system in my garage, and then just kept going. Ended up getting some schooling for it. I went out to a school in Kentucky that helped me out a little bit. Yeah, and then it just kept progressing, larger and larger.
The only you ever mess around with distilling alcohol?
Not spirits. We've done beer and wine.
Beer and wine.
Yeah.
I did it one time. This guy I was welding with, he swore up and down he could make his own still. So he came over one weekend and we stayed up all night. You know, I mean, I'm talking the most redneck looking still ever. And to the point where, you know, because you're supposed to burn off that first part, right? You're supposed to burn it off because it'll.
Yeah, you set it aside.
It'll make
the heads. Yeah.
Make you go blind. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
And then
a lot of it'll make you go blind. Yeah.
I tasted it. I was like, you know what, bud? You know what? You can have this. So we ended up staying up all night.
Have a little metal flavor to it from the welding.
It was not good. It was not good. I don't know if it was the mash or what it was, but ooh, not good. And that was my only experience with that. And just the simple fact that it took all night to sit there and like wait and da 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 da. I was like, this isn't for me, man. Now, of course, I'm sure a more professional kit, a more efficient rig, if you will, would probably, you wouldn't have to baby it and monitor it so much. I would assume, right?
Depends. I mean, it's a pretty wide range. Depends on the type of still that you have.
Okay.
Some what they call a continuous column still. Those you don't have to baby and monitor. It's just a consistent product all the time. But if you're running a standard pot still, which most people do, you still gotta watch it pretty close and make all the right cuts at the heads and the hearts and the tails and the whole bit.
Oh yeah,
but I'm not surprised by that. You know, number one, you were drinking whiskey that wasn't aged, and about 90% of the flavor you get from a whiskey is from sitting in a barrel for 3 or 4 or 5 years.
What percent would this have been? Like you straight off the top, no cutting?
Sure.
He's probably like 130 or 140 proof, if I had to guess.
I'm talking. Yeah. I probably lost a lot of brain cells since.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
You know, but it was one and done. I was like, no, this is just not. I'm just not cut out for it. I don't know. Like I said. So you leave the ministry, you start puttering around, and then you go take a couple of classes. You get a good foundation under you, right? You feel comfortable doing it. Now, 2026. What kind of operation you guys have?
Yeah, so we've been doing it now for like 8.5 years.
Oh wow.
And we're doing pretty well. We distribute it to 9 states around the country. We've got 2 tasting rooms, which operate essentially like a bar in Colorado. Every state's got different rules. So in Colorado, your tasting room, you can operate like a craft cocktail bar, but you can only use the spirits that you make. So we have essentially 2 bars, 2 manufacturing facilities, and we distribute 11 products to 9 states. And so far, so good, man. People are still drinking.
What's your staff look like?
It's pretty good size. I also have 2 restaurants, so and they're all kind of connected. So between it all, I got about 40 people that work for me. 5 of them are full-time managers. I have 1 full-time manufacturer and a couple part-time manufacturers, and the rest are all bar or wait staff.
Gotcha.
So you're going pretty strong then.
Yeah, I mean, strong enough. The bills are getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the brewery's name or the distillery's name?
Distillery's called 477 Distilling.
Okay.
477.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you distribute to Texas?
I don't. Trying hard, man. My dad lives in Texas. He lives in Austin, and
smuggle some to him.
Yeah, well, he smuggles it. If you ever find yourself in Austin, I can tell you a good dealer. Get you hooked up. But,
and what spirits primarily do you make?
We're kind of all over the map. So we've got a bourbon and a rye that are unflavored products, and we have 3 flavored whiskeys: peanut, cinnamon, and orange flavored whiskey. Our orange whiskey called Orange Barrel is our top selling product.
Orange.
We have 4 flavored liqueurs that are like lower proof, sweeter. We have a chai spirit, a lemon drop, a coffee, and an almond. And then we have 2 gins and a vodka.
Wow.
Nice.
Dude, that's a good lineup.
It's not a bad lineup. I can
That's
tell you
a
that
good
much.
Lineup.
Yeah.
Well, we might have to talk after the pod. I know a gentleman around here in town that is looking for a distiller for possibly his branding. So,
Oh, sweet.
we might have to connect you with him.
How much tweaking are you doing, like as far as your recipe, your process, everything that goes on? How did you get to what you do now?
Yeah. So when we opened 8.5 years ago, we opened with five SKUs, 5 products, and all those had come out of my time in my garage, where I had spent 3 years just messing with stuff, trying to mess with the recipe. I couldn't sell it; that was illegal. But I definitely tasted it on all my friends. They would give me feedback, and they'd be like, "This is too sweet. I don't like this. You need to change this flavor. Do this." And so when I opened, I had 5 canned recipes that I felt really good at. I had our bourbon, we had our gin, had our vodka, and we had 2 liqueurs, a coffee and an almond liqueur. And since then, since we've expanded, we test products a lot. So we have those that we distribute full time, and then we also do 1 to 2 limited releases out of our tasting room a month, usually around the flavored side. But we are always testing, always come up with something new. And for every product that we put out, I would say we've probably made between 20 and 50 versions of it to make sure that we had the right one that's out there. Because we don't want to put anything out that tastes bad. And we've actually done it a couple times. We put a couple really bad products on the market. COVID was a weird time, and we were just doing our best to get through it. So we released some stuff that shouldn't have been made public. But yeah, so for everything we do, we're about 20 to 50 versions before we nail down the one that we really like. And then once we nail it down, we're kind of locked into it. Not a whole lot of tweaking once you're in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What's the timeline on start to finish on a product?
All depends. Everything's a little bit different. So bourbon, for instance, which is the most famous one that's out there, that has to age in a barrel. So your ferment is 3 to 4 days. You distill it twice if you're using a pot still. You're talking probably 2 days of distilling there, and then it sits in a barrel for 4 years, 5 years before you see it. So a product like bourbon, you can be. When we opened, our bourbon was a year old, so we released it right away. And you see a lot of young bourbons on the market now, but so that could be 5 years. Things like gin, same day. We can make it, filter it, bottle it in the same day. Okay. Some of our flavor products, like our lemon drop, we use real lemons. So we got to peel about 1,000 lemons. That can take about a week. Our chai takes about 3 days. Everything's a little bit different. Just all depends on what we're making.
Yeah.
But you have some quick products and some.
Yeah, we have stuff that we can turn around in a day or 2 or a week.
So how much are you warehousing then at a time?
We're about 100, and we got about 110 barrels sitting right now, which doesn't sound like a lot. In compared to like a Jack Daniel's or Woodford Reserve or something like that, it's not. I mean, there's more barrels in the state of Kentucky than there are humans, which is wild. So we're a small producer, small brand. So we got about 100 barrels or so that we're sitting on right now.
Do you guys have people come up to you wanting to white label stuff?
We haven't gotten a ton of white label requests, but a few. We've done some. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm curious. You got any more
No, you go ahead.
alcohol related inquiries?
I'm sure I'd have tons of them. But.
Okay, well, you bowl on them. I'm going to go back to the fact that this preacher became a boozman. How was
boozman? I'm going to go with that. I'm going to use that one.
Boozman.
I'm putting it on my business card.
Yeah. Professional boozman.
Yeah.
So, like, what outside of the people in your community that probably knew you, that knew probably the passion behind it? I mean, is it just readily known, or do you make it known that, hey, I used to be in the ministry and now I distill booze, and what kind of conflicts, or I don't even know if you get conflicts, but kind of eyebrows raises on something like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't make it readily known. I don't wear a t-shirt that says I used to be a pastor, and I don't play Christian music in our tasting rooms. we
Hey, valid comment.
well, and I'll be honest, man. We opened. There's a brewery that opened in our town the exact same time that we did. A good friend of mine opened a brewery, Christian guy, and I opened a distillery. And he was the exact opposite. It was like he had verses written on his wall. He played Christian music all the time. Yeah. It was like God in the United States and beer, and that's what we're doing. And so we were kind of the opposite. Not like we're playing like bad music or like that. Right. We're just not letting Caleb.
It reminds me of a couple of weeks ago. It was making its rounds on social media about playing praise and worship while you have sex with your wife. And I'm like, what?
I haven't tried that one yet. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like Christians are like, oh yeah, no, yeah, you gotta. Yeah, I'm like, whoa, hey now.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Do you play music at all? Like,
no, we usually got a show on. Usually is Arrested Development or, something.
Friends.
No,
Battlestar
Friends.
Galactica.
Maybe some Battlestar Galactica.
South Park.
Put you in the mood.
Some South Park. But no, we've never been music. But
our podcast.
But I, you know what? In a way, though, I kind of respect that because Okay, me and Amos both grew up in the faith, and I feel like, especially for me, I was actually talking to my wife about this just a couple days ago. We were flipping through the channels and I'm sure you know, Focus on the Family's right in
they're down in Colorado Springs,
Colorado Springs of you. But like I grew up, just my parents were big Focus on the Family people, right?
Sure.
And now as an adult and soon to have adult children that are out of my house, I'm like listening to this stuff and I'm like, it's kind of cringy. It's kind of like, ooh, what's, just the whole label of Christian music or just Christian defined anything. This particular example was like, how to deal with your middle schooler about pressures at school or something like that. And I was just like, all the examples they were given, I was just like, oh no, what are you guys doing? Like, just talk to your kids. Why do you have to make this so weird? Not that I have like a personal vendetta against that or even like Focus on the Family. Hey, if you guys want to sponsor the podcast, let us know. I doubt it. But you know what I mean? But it was just like, so I say all that to say the choice that you made to not to make that differentiation, right? To say, hey, I don't want to come across as a Christian distillery, and have verses on everything and play worship music. I feel like that is, and probably nothing against your buddy that has a brewery, but to me it just seems, I don't know.
I think when you bring it into any business at all, like say if you're a roofing company or something and you just have it that plastered across everything as well, like, not that I think that everyone should comport themselves highly and in a Christian manner, but like just a lot of times when you run into Christian businessmen, they're using it as a ploy to say, trust me. And maybe you shouldn't trust this person.
Right.
That's been a lot of my experience when it comes to working with Christians.
Well, my deal, part of my deal was, and I told you guys earlier that like one of the reasons why I got into this is because that experience I had in Napa Valley where I was in this tasting room and just experiencing life with people that were so outside of my circle and weren't. I was. And so that was a huge part of it for me, was creating, like I said, I've got 2 tasting rooms and 2 restaurants. And like for me, my thing has always been, I want to create spaces where everybody feels welcome. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes when you're blaring the Christian music or you got verses all over the wall, I think it could be a turnoff to people that don't really want to be a part of that, or they could feel like they're not welcome to it. And so like for me, I tell people now, like, I feel like I'm doing more ministry now as a distillery owner than I ever did as a worship pastor for 15 years. The amount of stories of people that walk into my space that are struggling in their marriage or going through some sort of identity crisis, or I have a friend, this is a while, I got a friend that comes in all the time that is a self-proclaimed Satanist. And I'm like, that guy would never be my friend if I was a music pastor, but he loves me because I make booze and it's good booze and he drinks it all the time. And so for me, it was just like, I just want to create a space where people can come in and hang out and feel welcome, and they can, equal parts laughing and equal parts crying, and like it's just a space, and so I'm pretty intentional about making sure that we just don't do anything that would make people feel like they don't belong, or it's not their place, or you have to be into this space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and I also think that in doing that, you're letting your own light shine. That, you know what I'm saying? You're not having to have a Jesus fish bumper sticker to signal to other Christians or even to non-Christians, right? People that would come up to you normally and be like, "Hey man, what's up? I want to get to know you." And as you get to know them, then that opens up the doors to be like, "Hey, you seem like you got it figured out. What's your secret?" You know what I mean? And
exactly, yeah.
And that's huge. That's huge.
Well, I'm 100% in it with you on that. And I think like even the way I carry myself, I mean, I've been married for 21 years. I love my wife. I've got
congrats.
2 daughters that I'm incredibly close with, and I think I'm close to you in the same boat. I got 17-year-old and 13-year-old, so I'm close to out of the house.
Bro.
And like
right
the way
there.
that people see me as a dad, the way that people see me as a husband, I pay my taxes. I give to Caesar what's Caesar's. Like if I owe someone money, I pay him money, like I run my business the way that with high values. I run my personal life with high values. And so I think it's that all of it helps. Like people see that I'm a distillery owner, and most Christians, you would guess that most Christians wouldn't own a distillery, but here he is owning a distillery and married to the same woman, good dad, pays his taxes, good dude.
Now, I'm sure, are you when you probably started this love and passion for boozing, not boozing, I guess boozing
would be excessive drinking.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm all in
booze man.
boozing.
Being a booze man. You probably started following, different people on social medias to, that curate that interest. There's a guy, I believe, is he in Tennessee, Georgia? I can't remember. He owns a distillery. He's a Christian, and his tagline is that he's the second best in the county or something like that, right? He's trying to be modest, but he's doing. I think he owns like just straight up liquor stores. I don't know if they distill anything, but he. I don't know if you've come across this guy. I'll have to send it to you. But they do like giveaways, and they will call in all these people from, just the most random people to the store, and before they give these giveaways, they'll be like, "Hey, does anybody have any prayer needs? Like, let's take care of, your spiritual body first." And then let's celebrate and let me sell you this booze, or spin the wheel and win a free bottle off the wall, or whatever it is, whatever gimmick you want to say. But the fact that they they do that for their local community, I'm like, wow, dude, like almost unheard of.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about too. Yeah, they're in Tennessee. Yep.
Oh, it is Tennessee. Okay,
it's liquor stores. Yep.
Yeah, and just I'm so glad you reached out to us, because that's really the direction that we feel like this podcast kind of sits, is this line of, yes, we are Christians, but at the same time, as the name would suggest, we're not overly profane in our day-to-day speak, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, okay, listen, let's be real. Let's really talk about what it's like to be a Christian in this world, and not put on any facade. Don't put on any pretenses, right?
Right. Exactly. I love that.
Yeah, dude. Some good stuff. You got any more questions about booze?
I don't know. I'd love to take a tour.
I know, right?
I'm at home. If I was at work, I'd walk you through the facility.
No, next time I'm in Denver, maybe I'll convince Will to let's swing up.
Let's pop up.
Please do. Yeah, we'll take good care. It'll be great. So,
I actually haven't had a drink since October.
Oh, that's right.
So, yeah.
Congrats.
I don't know. It's just things weren't quite sitting right digestively, so I'm like, I'm just gonna knock this off for a little bit. So I was just trying to go a year. Yeah. And I would say
you're almost there.
Oddly, because I'd get a craving in the evenings for a drink would be nice, and in the last week, 2-3 weeks or whatever, that kind of kicked off. Maybe it's the remodel. Like I just too tired for one.
Physically exerting yourself.
Like a drink
every
doesn't
day?
sound good right now. But yeah, like I do miss it though. There's still like it's just a nice relaxing thing. Where do you stand? Obviously you're pro alcohol. But
Yes,
your
very.
thoughts on alcohol in the Bible and because I have my dad was a pastor, but he's like hardcore teetotaler. Like I don't know that he's ever had a drink in his life.
Sure.
Really?
Yeah. I'd be surprised.
I don't
Aside
know.
from saying, "Hey, taste this," and him going, "That's disgusting."
Well, I wouldn't say, it wouldn't surprise me, but I bet you there's some instances overseas that he probably had no choice.
Well, so the church that he grew up in is the Covenant Church. They're kind of like Northern Baptists,
Okay.
but they were founded by a bunch of Scandinavian drunks who then
Yeah.
like, all right, we're going to stop drinking because we're all a bunch of drunkards. And then that was pretty well embedded in the church up until the last generation, I'd say. Like the last couple generations, they've been more lax. But prior to that, very anti-drinking, anti-dancing. So yeah, that's kind
Anti-Harry
of
Potter,
where I
yeah.
grew up. And then when I got older, I just kind of started like, well, I'll try this, try that. But where do you stand on, like, what's your defense of alcohol consumption versus what people would say the Bible says?
Yeah, I mean, there's a big defense in there, and I could talk on this for a while. It was honestly something I had to wrestle with because when I was a pastor, it came out that I was starting a distillery while I was still working at the church. So I was there for 6 months while I was opening the distillery, and so there was some interesting moments at the end of my ministry career in opening the distillery. So, but the reality is like it's in the Bible, and Jesus turned water into wine. And some people would say, well, the wine wasn't fermented, but pasteurization of liquids didn't happen until the early 1900s. So anything that was fruit based would have fermented back then. Today. And so Jesus turned water into wine, a wedding that they were celebrating and having fun.
And it was it was the old grape juice too. It wasn't the new grape juice. It was the old.
It wasn't
grape
the new
juice.
grape juice. So there's, there's really no scenario where the wine didn't have fermentation, aka didn't have alcohol in it.
Right.
And I think it's like, it's the argument where like somebody, the amount of people that would come after me over alcohol, like, how can you do this? Alcohol is such a sin and it's terrible. And meanwhile, they're getting 3 hamburgers when they're at McDonald's, right? Which is also the Bible talks about overeating and gluttony. The argument of like alcohol causes so many deaths. Well, diabetes is the number one cause of death in the United States right now. So
non-alcoholic fatty liver is highly prevalent in children at this point.
It's crazy. So I just think like I understand the thinking behind it because it's such a polarizing thing, but it feels to me like you're taking a part of the scripture that you just don't like, and because Jesus says, don't be drunk, and you're taking that part of the scripture and you're not taking the whole thing into context and account. And the reality is God created everything, and it's it's got a purpose. And I get it. Like sometimes you can go a little bit too far, and of course I have. I make alcohol for a living. It's snuck up and got me a few times. You know what I mean? But I just think like there's no scenario where there's no scenario in the Bible or in theology where it's brought up as being like evil or bad or sin. It's just, it's good. It's something that God created and it's good. And Jesus was so good that Jesus at a party turned water into wine so people could enjoy it.
He was
I would
called
even
a
go as
wine
far.
bibber, which he had to be partaking in order to be called that.
Yeah. I mean, this is like the most controversial thing ever. Maybe not. I don't know. But I would even go as far to say that I think like Jesus was down with people getting buzzed. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can drink and feel good and chill out a little bit and relax a little bit, and it's not drunk. But I think, if you drink a glass or two of wine, it's gonna impact your system, and it's part of how it works and how the body works. And
I think the fact that you even have to say that, it's societally, especially in the Christian community, it's people taking those personal convictions and warping it into theology.
Right.
Would you not say?
I would put it beyond that and put it into the category of like prudishness, where it's not a personal conviction. It's something everybody else should be doing. Like alcohol shouldn't exist because bad things happen when people drink alcohol, and lots of other bad things happen when you do. Really, it's all about like how wisely do you act, and
Right.
like I mean, alcohol can inhibit your wisdom, obviously. But even then, like for as the drunkest I've personally ever been, I've still always maintained a level of like cognitive awareness. Like I don't get blackout drunk. I don't know what, like, obviously that happens to people, but even the drunkenness aspect though, like the Bible never says drunkenness is a sin. It's never quoted that way. It says no drunkard will enter the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
Well, I mean, why is that? And I always say that a drunkard's God is alcohol. That's why they won't
Right.
enter. It's not the act of what they're
Right,
doing. It's the
right.
fact that something else is more important to them than God, and that can be
Right.
true for any material good, for food, for sugar, name it. Anything that's more important than God to you, then you're living in idolatry, and you won't enter the kingdom of heaven.
Yep. Exactly. If I could drop this mic, I'd drop it right now, but it's on a stand. So
Every once in a while, I'll come up with something good.
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, and that's it. Is at the end of the day, it's personal to you. I agree with you. I'm not one like just because you feel that way doesn't mean that everybody should feel that way. And to the opposite end, I'm not telling you that Christians have to go drink. Like I'm not sitting here going, well, if you're a Christian and you don't drink, you suck. It's like no. I mean, everybody's got their own.
I mean, Jesus drank. You should drink. Although I do lean toward communion should be done with wine. I'd lean pretty strongly on that. I look down upon grape juice in that category.
Yeah, I look down upon the really crappy wafer they're using these days. It tastes
I
like
also
plastic. Yeah.
think it should be unleavened bread
Yeah,
as
let's
well.
step it
Yeah.
up.
But yeah.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do anything, let's step it up.
Exactly. But I'm with you on all those things. It's I have realized it's a very polarizing thing for Christians. And when I was leaving the church to open this, I would say 95% of the church, we were pretty good size, 1,500 people or so. And when I was leaving the church, 95% of them were really excited behind me, for me, like we're going to support you. But then there was about 5% that were really anti and very vocal and pretty mean. And so that was a bummer. That was, you're kind of like, oh, come on, guys. Like, is it really? So
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I think we probably fall in that same boat with regards to having a podcast with this title.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly been some. I mean, we get regular comments where like, y'all need to change the name of that podcast. This is terrible. The worst thing you could do.
How dare you?
Yeah. But like, I mean, I think it has pigeonholed us a little bit with our audience because there's a certain Christians, a large sect of Christians who just won't subscribe. And then there's people who won't subscribe because it is Christian. And so we kind of fall into this kind of narrow middle ground we're finding.
And once again, whenever I get rejections or even comments that are like that, hey, go with God, man. If that's what your personal conviction is, by all means, just keep on scrolling. It's not for you. Trust me. Even if it is a good content and like I said, really it started I'm the one who loves podcast. Amos likes podcast. I love it. You would like it. I'll say that. And there have been other attempts from quote unquote Christians with profanity in the name, but then you watch those podcasts and they almost use profanity in excess just to kind of, and maybe that's just how they talk in their day to day, but it's kind of like, okay, what exactly are you doing? There's clearly a reason for the title shit, to encompass a whole wide variety of things to talk about. Right. Yes.
I mean, it's the best description of what we do.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So yeah. Anyway, not.
Do you find? I'm curious. Do you find that is there like on the flip side? Do you find you get a lot of followers that are like angry Christians? Like we want to prove that Christians can do bad stuff. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say that I've noticed that.
No.
Like the rebellious Christians?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. We did get a clip a couple weeks back that took some heat on Instagram where I guess they thought we were Catholics. and it was a comment about my brothers that were Catholics, or the clip was the guest was talking about Catholics in some capacity, and it was taken out of context. And I mean, dude, the Catholics, bro, the ones that know their stuff, they will jump in there so fast. You gotta see, they're writing freaking novels in the comments section, and I'm like, as the content, the social media content guy, I'm like, I don't know about liking this one. That one's a little too spicy there, bud. You know what I mean? And they'll start battling in the comments. I guess listen, it's hard running a podcast when me and Amos both kind of detest social media. But then how else do you get your podcast out there? But you have to dip your toes in. I'm sure you're probably in a similar boat with regards to owning a business. It's like you can't really have a business nowadays unless you're purely word of mouth without having some sort of social media platform, some sort of presence.
No chance. Yep.
And that just, for me, it's like a personal conviction of, man, I really want to just get rid of all this social media stuff. But at the same time, it's like, well, we're trying to grow this thing. Let's get it going. So keeps on pulling me back in.
So being from Colorado and all, which is the first state to legalize marijuana.
You don't say.
Yeah. Where you stand on that? And yeah, I guess also it's competition for your business as well.
Oh, I bet.
A little bit, yeah. I don't really take an opinion. I don't know. What's the famous line right now? I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
No, I don't plead the fifth. I don't plead the fifth. We were in Colorado when it legalized, and it's definitely pretty prominent here, no doubt. I personally have never done it, never partaken in it. It's never held any appeal to me. But similar to alcohol, it's like, man, I'm not God. I don't know what he thinks about it, and I'm not one to judge.
Well,
and so
I think it kind of falls in that same line, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
And so like I have nothing against it. Majority of my staff probably partakes in it, and I've been around it a few times. It's just never held any appeal to me. Like I've just never been like the way that people describe how they feel. I'm like, I'd just rather drink whiskey. But so for me, it's like it's a reality of what we're living in, and I do wish. I would say it's less regulated than our industry, so that bothers me a little bit that we have such heavy regulations. Like,
really?
I think they're finally getting better in terms of like driving under the influence and things like that. And for a long time, when it first legalized, there was no limits to how much you could smoke and drive and or take and drive.
There's no way to you can't do a breathalyzer for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've figured out some ways now, and I think but. Anyway, it just felt like it was a little bit like the Wild Wild West for a time. But all that to say, I don't really care.
Yeah, because were you living in Colorado when that transition?
Yeah, I was here when I was here for a couple of years. We've been here for about 20 years.
And I'm curious, after it kind of became such a new thing, right? And now we're X amount of years past it. I mean, is it still... is it still stigmatized with that regard? Is it prevalent everywhere? Like you're walking around your downtown and it's like, oh, here we go. Pot smokers are in the
I mean, you can smell it. You can smell it.
You can smell it. Yeah, you can smell it. I think everybody just kind of assumed that everyone in Colorado started smoking weed when it happened.
Right.
And people. Similar to South Park, man, I'd be, traveling and, hey, where are you from? Colorado. Oh, you smoke that good weed? Yeah. No, I don't know. Nothing's really
these days.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like it's kind of coming backwards now where it blew up and you started seeing pot shops everywhere. And now it's heading the other way. Like pot shops are starting to close down. The market got oversaturated a little bit. So I think it kind of hit its plateau, and things are coming backwards a little bit.
Society didn't fall apart. People weren't going crazy in the streets over there. And
I mean, did you notice any social negatives from it?
Not really, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe what I would tell you is the people that work for me, my staff is primarily 16 to 24 years old, like that window of age range. I've got a couple that are in their like 30s, but for the most part, 16 to 24, 25 years old. And there are certain things about that generation of workers that I don't know if it's attributed to weed, but I do know that they've been raised in a generation where they have easy access to weed. And there's just some things that like their problem solving skills are horrific.
I think that's generational. Yeah, no.
And so I don't know if it's generational or if it's a product of it. Those would be some of the things,
bro.
Yeah, well, then what's wrong with the generation?
They're raised on freaking the internet.
Screens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, their brains are rotted out.
Supposedly there's something to like kids who've only been on iPads who don't understand like the file structures in a Windows computer and how everything lays out have like lower problem solving ability.
Makes
because
sense.
everything's just right in front of them in an app.
Well, now you brought it up. Are you Apple or Android guy?
I'm an Apple guy, 100%.
Well, you own a business. We'll let it slide.
I don't care. I'm agnostic on these things. I don't care what phone. I want to get a Sony phone. So.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. I'm a Tesla guy. So if Elon comes out with a phone, I'm in 100%.
I mean, just rip that iPad off the dash, and you got yourself a.
That's right, dude. A removable dash. Yeah.
You got a Starlink too?
I do. Yeah, I have Starlink.
I got Starlink. I like it. I like it.
We camp a lot, so we have like the mini Starlink that we take with us too, because being without internet is horrible.
How dare you? How dare you, Dad? You brought us all the way out here. There's no internet.
I can't watch my YouTube shorts. What are you doing?
Gosh.
Wasn't I think a friend of mine was saying that he's got Starlink with his new like iPhone 17. It'll link straight to Starlink without the hub.
Really?
Yeah, like so you're just out and about and you have basically satellite internet.
Okay.
On
That's
your new
pretty sweet.
iPhone.
Okay, I like that.
But you have to have the subscription to Starlink
yeah.
subscription, obviously.
But you could probably tag that into your residential.
Yeah, I think
plan
it's linked into the same plan. Yeah.
That's not a bad
So
idea.
reason to get an iPhone.
Well, hold on. I'll just wait till they roll it out on Android. How about that?
Yeah.
Maybe my burner phone. Just keep that in the dash.
So what's your collection look like? What's your bourbon collection look
Your
like?
own personal collection.
I've got probably about 400 bottles right now. It's sitting in my basement. I sell all the time, so I'm in liquor stores on a regular basis, and so like if I see something that I don't have, I get it. I kind of follow a rule, like I won't open a bottle unless I have two of them. That way, I always have one that's full and one that's open. But I'm also like, man, you got to drink the bourbon if you got it. So I have very few bottles that are unopened. But
Any
about
completed
400
sets?
Weller, I've got the Weller Rainbow. I finally completed that like 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow!
Which was tough.
How many colors are in the rainbow?
God, there's 5 or 6. You got orange, green, red, white, black, blue. How many is that? 6?
I wasn't counting.
Yeah, I wasn't counting either.
Orange, green, red, white, black, blue. 6.
Yeah. We don't do math on this show.
Yeah.
What do you think this is?
I have the complete Weller set. I've got people that are like really into it would know I've got the full Orphan Barrel set, which was really popular for a long time. It's kind of trailed off recently. It's a company that would buy what they call them orphan barrels from other companies, where like these rick houses are so huge, and they have thousands and thousands of barrels that like literally these companies forget about barrels in certain sections of their warehouses, and that like 20 years later, they're like, oh crap, we've got these 5 barrels that we forgot to open, and they're 25 years old, and we don't know what to do with them because they don't work with any of our products. So they sell them to this company called Orphan Barrel, and they release those barrels like a limited. Hey, we've got like 2,000 bottles. That's all we got. When it's out, it's out. And they're all over the map in terms of what barrels they are, and they won't tell you where they came from, whose barrels they are. They just tell you that, hey, this one's 30 years old and it's 115 proof, or this one is a wheated bourbon, it's 120 proof. And so I have that whole set, the whole Orphan Barrel set. Don't have the Pappy set. I've got two in the Pappy line. Okay. Let's see. I've got I've finished the Blanton's horse, all the different horse letters. So
okay. So in your line of industry, are you guys going to like expos? Do they have bourbon expos?
I think what you're saying, we have festivals. A big thing is festivals for us. Yeah. So we, like in our state, there's probably 15 festivals that we could participate in. And, it's like a 3-hour event, usually 30 to 40 different producers there. And people walk around with they buy a glass and they walk around, walk up to your table, try your stuff. And so those are the types of things in terms of like the large, big expos. I mean, there's some, but in terms of people like trying product and whatnot, it's usually going to be in festivals. There's some really big ones in the United States, some smaller ones in local states. But festivals they're a lot of fun. 3 hours of people drinking is wild.
Oh yeah.
I've like,
with 40
I keep thinking
different options?
With 40 different options that probably all have 10 options.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it gets crazy. One of these days I need to wear a GoPro camera when I'm doing a festival and just so people can see. It gets wild,
No, give me another one.
So what, you pay X amount for a ticket to get in and then like all the samples are free?
That's it.
So you see the same people coming back around?
All the time. Yeah. So what they do, it's pretty funny, right? So like they'll go from like booth to booth and they'll try their things. Then when they find the thing they like the most, then they just kind of keep going back to that booth. The best is that they try to act like it's their first time because they think that like we're going to be upset about it if they keep coming back. So they walk up like, I haven't tried that bottle yet. We're like, you were here 5 minutes. I literally just saw you 5 minutes ago. You were right there.
I made the joke about your hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh gosh,
so
funny.
and it's funny for us because like the majority of people start. So I told you all the products that we have. So we're like bourbon, rye, and then we've got all of our flavored stuff. And it's hilarious because everybody shows up to these things like bourbon snobs, They're like, I'm here to try the bourbon. And then by the time they're done, they're drinking all the fruity, and then they love it. They're like, this is so good. This lemon drop is incredible. And it's pretty funny.
Any awards?
Yeah. We've won a few awards. We won a pretty big national award for our chai.
That's cool.
We won best in category for our chai liqueur. We won best in category for our orange liqueur. Awards, can I pull back the curtain a little bit on our industry? Awards are kind of a joke. Like you pay for awards at the end of the day. So the way it works is like you submit a bottle to an award competition. Let's say it's the Los Angeles Spirits competition or the New York Spirits competition, whatever it is. You submit, you pay like $600 or $700 for this deal. And then you submit your products and you send in 6 or 7 bottles, whatever it is you want to get awards for. And then they score you. They have these professional people that score you, and they score you. So it's like 6 different people that would score you. And if your score is like, let's say it's 85 to 89, you're a bronze medal winner. If it's 90 to 94, you're a silver medal winner. And then if it's 95 to 100, you're a gold medal winner. But the assumption is people are like, well, there's only 1 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze because, in sports, that's how it works, right? You only have 1 winner. But you could have everybody win gold, right? Mm-hmm. And they're not going to not give you a medal because you spent $600 to put your bottle into that competition. So, like, if they don't like your product, it's a bronze. Right. And so if you see bronze on a product out there, just know,
oh no,
didn't do well at the competition. If it's silver, it's like, all right, they kind of liked it. And then if it's gold, then clearly the judges liked it. But even that, I'm like you got these judges, man, they probably got to judge 100 bottles. Like if you're bottle number 100, they don't even know what they're tasting at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how quick they're going through, but
still though,
if it's like the festivals.
Yeah, it's crazy. So like the awards thing, I think is a little bit of a joke.
You're telling me that Tito's isn't the most award-winning
Don't open that can of worms, buddy.
Oh, I do not like Tito's. I don't get it.
I don't mind it. It's not bad.
Ugh.
Do you want me to really pull back the curtain? Because you literally opened the can of worms here.
Yeah, that's what. Come on.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to get sued from Tito's right now. So here's the deal.
Okay.
Vodka is one of the hardest things to make. And the reason why it's so hard is because you have to distill it at such a high proof. It has to be distilled at over 195 proof.
Okay.
And so the equipment to do it is really expensive. It's really time consuming. But it's really cheap to make. And so there is one company in Indiana that makes probably 95% of the world's vodka. And just about every distillery that I know of just buys their vodka from them, including us, including Tito's. So we buy our vodka from the same place that Tito's buys their vodka. And they actually got sued like 5 years ago because on their label it says handcrafted in Austin, Texas in like a pot still. And they got sued because people were like, it's like you didn't craft, like you bought it from this company and you're just repackaging it.
Oh no.
They ended up winning the lawsuit because what they do is they actually take it, they put it inside of a still, and then they pull it back out of the still and they put it in the bottles.
So they do a little crafting at the end.
Little crafting at the end.
Look, what could you possibly do at that point? Like what does that do on a scientific level?
Zero.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with vodka. The whole purpose of vodka is it should be flavorless. Like it's called a neutral spirit.
Right.
There's no flavor for vodka.
Isn't Everclear just technically
high proof vodka?
High proof vodka, yeah.
High proof vodka. So the intent of vodka in a cocktail is to increase your alcohol volume, and so that all the other flavors in your cocktail are the prominent flavors. Right, so. Right. Like a dirty vodka martini, you just want to be able to taste olive juice and booze. Like that's the idea behind it. And so anybody that tells you that vodka has this is a really good flavored vodka, that's like total BS. It's literally like medical grade alcohol. It's 195 proof alcohol that has no taste to it. So
I used to know a guy that was swore by drinking Grey Goose because he said it didn't give him a hangover. Now I'm going to have to call this guy
Grey Goose and Tito's are from the same place, man. Like
to call him and be like, you're full of it, man.
Or maybe they just use better water when they cut it, I guess.
Now there is something to that. I will say that, you know, since you're buying it at 195 proof and it goes into a bottle at 90 proof, it's more than 50% water. So if you are using crappy water to proof it down, it can impact maybe the bitterness of it or something like that, or the smoothness of it. So, generally most distilleries use what they call an RO system, reverse osmosis water system, to cut it. So it's flavorless water being mixed with flavorless booze.
Well, Mythbusters did a thing, whether this is true or not, back when they were running, where they ran vodka through a Brita filter, and they ran it through like 7 different times and like staged each one out, and then I had like a professional tester come in, and he was able to lay everything out in accordance with its filtration, the number of filtrations, just based on tasting.
That's I mean, filtering's a whole nother piece of it too. So I mean, there's a lot to it, but bottom line is vodka's not as exciting as it sounds. And vodka is such a great example of the power of marketing in our industry. Yeah. And it's so much more about marketing and the story you tell and the branding than it is, and the price point, than it is about the actual product and how it's made and what it tastes like. And like we run this experiment all the time. Like you ever hear the people that, you know, they taste, I can taste the leather and the chocolate notes and the whiskey. And
oaky.
It's oaky, right? So if I gave you a glass of my bourbon and I told you that's what you're going to taste, you're going to taste it because like you're convinced that I'm an expert and I'm going to tell you that that's what it's going to taste like. But you also taste based on price too. Like if you go spend $100 on a bottle of booze, you're going to convince yourself that's going to be a really good bottle of booze because you spent $100 on it. And so it's just a constant reminder that our industry, at the end of the day, is a marketing machine. You know, if you think, I always like to tell people, if you think that Kevin Hart can make a better tequila than those guys down in Mexico, then you're crazy. But Kevin Hart's tequila is one of the top selling tequilas in the world right now because it's his name behind it and everybody thinks that he's a stud. So
and Ryan Reynolds makes good gin.
Yeah, he sold it. He doesn't own Aviation anymore.
Really?
He still does all the marketing for him, but yeah, he sold it.
Sold it. I just think of what doesn't The Rock have a
he's
tequila?
got
Romano.
Every
George
celebrity has a tequila. Yeah. George Clooney sold his for $1 billion. Casamigos. Yep.
Why would? Wow.
Okay, so let's get back into your market of of alcohol that you're selling, do you what you got any fancy names for these bottles? You got any fancy names that you're throwing on your bourbon?
Yeah, not on our bourbon. So bourbon's just bourbon.
Okay.
Some of our flavored stuff, we have some fun with it. So we have one product that we call our Almondretto. It's like an amaretto, but we went with Almondretto. We actually trademarked the name Almondretto, which is kind of fun. It's kind of a wild story behind why we called it that. And then all of our flavored whiskeys are called, it's a barrel. It's like orange barrel, cinnamon barrel, peanut barrel. If it's a flavored whiskey, that's the name we go with it. They are not aged in peanut barrels. Like we don't make barrels out of peanuts and age them. So it's just a name. It's marketing again. But it's a pretty wild story. Like for our industry, we have an overarching government agency called the TTB, stands for United States Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau. And they're our government authority over our industry. And they have a thing called the Beverage Alcohol Manual. And it basically is like a list of rules for like, in order for it to be called bourbon or gin or rye or whatever, like you have to follow all these rules, right? And so for every product that you make, you have to submit a formula to the feds. And then they will respond back and either ask you to change the formula, ask for some clarification, or give you the thumbs up and then put you in a category. So they'll put you in the bourbon whiskey category or the liqueur category, whatever it is. Then once you've done that, you just submit your labels to the federal government. And the labels, that is where it gets tricky because you cannot say anything on your label that makes people believe that you are producing something other than what you're producing, which is kind of why that Tito's thing gotten a little bit sideways. Okay. So for instance, when I first started the distillery, my very first product that I wanted to put out was our amaretto. Now the way that we make it different from other amarettos is we use agave spirit to sweeten it, not cane sugar. And in the beverage alcohol manual, in order for it to be considered an amaretto or a liqueur, you have to use cane sugar to sweeten your product. So when I sent my formula in, they came back and said, this looks great, but we're putting you in what we call the distilled spirit specialty category, which means when we don't know what to do with your product, we're putting you in distilled spirit specialty. So then we went to labeling. We sent in our label and it was called our amaretto, and they came back and said you can't call it amaretto because it's not it doesn't have cane sugar in it, so you got to call it something else. So we renamed it to Almondretto, and that's why it's the name Almondretto instead of amaretto. So here's where the story gets really fun. So the very first flavored whiskey product that we put out was our cinnamon whiskey, which we called Cinnamon Barrel, and we did it in the middle of COVID, and it was the TTV was running at like a third the staff. They weren't really paying attention. They were letting a lot of stuff through. So we sent in our label for Cinnamon Barrel, and they approved our label, and we printed it and put it out there. Well, the next flavored product that we put out was our Orange Barrel, which is our orange flavored whiskey. So we send in our label Orange Barrel, and they come back and they say, hey, you can't call it Orange Barrel because you're not using real orange barrels to make it. So it's false advertising. You can't say that. So we wrote back and said, that's funny because you let us call it Cinnamon Barrel and we're not using real cinnamon barrels. So they wrote back and said, Orange Barrel it is. Good to go.
Oh, they didn't reverse it and go the other direction.
No, they didn't reverse it. They let us grandfather it in. So it's happened now with every single, we have like 10 different flavored barrel products. You know what I mean? Orange barrel, peanut barrel, cinnamon barrel, Earl Grey barrel.
And every time you probably just send them, that same email, just attach it. Please see attached emails. For justification.
Please see what you allowed us to call our last product. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Pretty wild. So it's a wild industry.
Does flavoring go in with the barrel, or do you just flavor afterwards?
Flavor afterwards. And every process is different. Our goal with all of our flavored products is to create the most natural flavor possible. We're huge cocktail fans. Like I'm a massive cocktail nerd. And so our goal is to always create the best, most natural flavor possible for cocktails. And so everyone is different. Like our cinnamon uses real cinnamon sticks. Our orange whiskey, we peel oranges and the orange peels soak in the whiskey for 10 days. Our chai, we literally make our own chai tea blend and we soak it in vodka. Our peanut, we use extracts. Like everyone's different that gets us the best flavor possible.
So it's not that synthetic tasting kind of like
nothing synthetic.
Liqueurs, cheap liqueurs drive me nuts because they're just so chemical tasting.
Horrible.
Yeah. What's your favorite cocktail?
Depends on the day. I'm a big whiskey guy, so I love old fashions for sure. Yeah. But I can get down on like a hot day. It's really hot in Colorado right now, which means nothing to you in Texas.
I was about to say easy.
Yeah.
Gin and tonic.
So like, no, it's like a gimlet. I love a gimlet. Gin lime juice and simple syrup, I think, is one of the best cocktails out there. So huge gimlet fan.
Very refreshing.
I like it all, man. I'm like, I haven't met an alcohol I don't like at this point.
We talked about outside influences when you started going down this path. What did the family think? Are you now are your daughters now like, oh, there goes Dad talking about his booze?
No, I mean, my family was all on board. You know, I get asked this a lot of like, hey, I get asked to coach a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs on a regular basis, and they always, one of the big questions I get is, hey, what do you do if your wife's not on board with this business you want to start? Yeah. And my response is like, man, I don't know what to tell you because my wife was on board with everything I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, my thing was I brought my family along the whole way. Like they watched me make it on the stove. They were watching me make it in the garage. They were there on opening day. Like they've been a part of the process with me all the way through. And who knows, like my kids have probably spent more time in a bar than most any kids ever, but they're not, you know, 17-year-old's not drinking. I mean, it's not like we're like super loose about it. And she's like, we follow the law, we follow the rules, we're doing it all the right way. But no, I mean, everybody's, my whole family has been a part of the journey since day one. You know, it's not like I had this secretive life and then all of a sudden it was like, by the way, I want to open a distillery. It's like they were a part of the process all the way through. Even my wife was a part of the process all the way through. And so when it came time to walk away from the pastor job and do this, I mean, we were kind of all in agreement, you know, all of us on board and happy about it. And I think my kids go to a private Christian school. And if you know anything about private Christian schools, they're all Christians, but they all really want to rebel. You know what I mean? Like they want to be the cool rebellion. So I think my kids maybe get a little bit of like, oh, you know, Sam and Riley's dad makes alcohol for a living. Sam and Riley are so cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they get some street cred.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty funny.
Your kiddos are about to go to Christian private
They're
school.
working. Another week or so.
You got any questions for a guy that's sending his kids off to a Christian private school?
I don't know. I don't think the ones in our area, especially the younger ones, are in that like rebellious class.
Not
Yeah.
yet.
Like the main one, there's only one in town that does high school, and they're very borderline homeschool in the way. It's basically a bunch of homeschoolers got together and made a private school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
sounds
how
sweet.
that one went.
Yeah, that's fun.
What are your plans moving forward? What's the pinnacle for you in this industry?
Man, I get asked that all the time. Honestly, don't know, man. Like I never saw past day one, if I'm being honest. Like I just wanted to get it open and get going. And every growth step that we've taken since day one has been incredible. And you know, 3 years ago, I never thought we'd be distributing to 9 states. Like it feels like every year we keep growing. So my thing is, we always want to grow. We never want to be stagnant. I want to keep moving forward. The reality is nobody gets into the craft beverage industry without an intent to sell at some point. And so obviously the goal would be to create a business large enough that some large guy comes and buys it from you. But if it doesn't happen, that's okay. If I run it for 20 years and we close it down, that's okay. If I run it for 20 years and my kids take over, that's great. So I just love the space I'm in now. I love growing and creating and doing more things, and all of it's fun for me. So yeah, I mean, I don't have like the pinnacle is like $100 million. I'm walking out the door type of a thing. That's not that me. So for me, the pinnacle is just to keep enjoying. It's always for me been about impact, creating space for people to be impacted, whether it's my staff or my customers that are walking through. And so as long as we can keep doing that, I've hit the pinnacle for sure.
Well, and I think with your industry specifically, the longer you stick around, the longer you have those barrels aging, right? It's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Do
Do you have your 8-year that you're like keeping for 20 or like sitting in the back stock?
No, we've probably done a little bit backwards, but I, like for me, every barrel is money. And I put money into it, and it's just money that's sitting there. And so if it's sellable, I'm going to sell it. And so we've never gotten to a point where we haven't held any barrels back. We've just continued to sell. That being said, we're still putting more barrels down than we are selling, so our barrel age keeps increasing. But we'll see where the industry goes. I mean, bourbon is kind of on its way down right now. Other things are on their way up, so we'll see where it lands for us.
Yeah.
What are you doing over in the restaurants?
So I own it's a gourmet waffle restaurant, which is incredible. It's called Oak and Maple, and it's actually in one of our locations. It's 477 Distilling and Oak and Maple under one roof. Separate businesses, separate bars, but under one roof. And then in Greeley, where I live, they're each in their own location. And it's a ton of fun. That's a really fun business to be in for sure. Restaurants are really hard. And I was probably way more confident in my abilities than I should have been opening a restaurant. I had a lot of success with the distillery, and actually had opened an axe throwing bar and then sold that off. And so it was like, man, I'm the man. I can do this. And so opened this restaurant that turns out really hard, but we're having a good time with it. It's doing all right.
What kind of waffles are we talking about? Big thickies, little thin ones?
They're big thickies, Belgian waffles, Belgian style waffles. We got 3 different types of batters. Obviously, our most popular thing is chicken and waffles. We do a ton of chicken and waffles.
That's a great idea.
And we have like sweet waffles too. We've got waffle sandwiches. We actually have a couple salads.
Well, if you ever want to open up a third, just come on over to Nacogdoches. I'll help you run it.
Yeah, we're a little short on good restaurants around here.
Yeah, I got 2 daughters that would love a job too.
Y'all, honestly, that was part of it too. Is my kids, I wanted to get them in a spot that they can work, and they can't really work in the distillery till they're 18.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was part of it for
Fair
sure.
point.
Yep.
Well, are we in the black or are we in the red overall? We doing good?
Yeah, we're doing good. We're making money.
That's awesome.
It's we've been in growth phase for about 3 years now, where we did a massive expansion, move into another tasting room, much larger facility, open in the restaurants. And so growth always costs a lot of money. So, it's tighter than it normally is, but we're doing just fine and we're having fun, and God seems to still provide. Turns out He's still providing, even though I'm making the devil's juice. So.
Well, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing by dominating this earth. You're claiming your dominion. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the name of the distillery once more.
It's called 477 Distilling.
Where does that come from?
So Greeley was a dry city until 1969. When they took it to a vote to legalize alcohol, the vote passed by 477 votes. And so we represent those 477 votes by making some kick-ass alcohol.
Okay. And are you a guy that you just came across that fact and it just kind of stuck with you? Is it something you were like, I'm going to name this, I want to make sure that I name this company after something significant? Like how did you come up with it?
It's actually kind of a wild story. That is not our original name. So our original name was actually called Tower 56 Distilling. I am originally from Southern California, born and raised in Orange County, California. My family had a beach house there in Newport Beach, and my grandmother lived there, and directly outside my grandmother's back porch was the 56th Street Lifeguard Tower. It was kind of like the backdrop for my entire childhood. We got a really close family. I got 7 cousins that are like brothers, and so when I opened this distillery, I was like, I really wanted to represent my family. I wanted to be something that represents who we are. And so we went with Tower 56 and loved it. It was a fun name. And in 2020, interesting year, we actually got a cease and desist on the use of our name. We had trademarked it, but one of the things I learned was in the United States, it's first to use, not first to trademark. And another company out of a state that rhymes with Texas, they also had a similar name to ours, and so they sent us a cease and desist, and we found out that we could fight it and probably win, but it would cost us probably $100,000 to do that. And so we decided one of the pain points that we have been feeling with that name is we had started distributing more widely throughout the state of Colorado. And, if I'm over in Grand Junction selling my product in a liquor store and some guy goes, tell me about the name Tower 56, we'd say, well, we're a distillery in Greeley, Colorado, but we're named after a lifeguard tower in Southern California. And like this, it just didn't make sense. Yeah. And it was like, I could make it work because I'm a good storyteller, but like a random person that works in my bar had a hard time. Like, well, our owner's from California and his family and, you know, this. And so we kind of we're like, let's just embrace this opportunity to change the name and let's make it about our hometown, which we love. You know, we are we love serving in Greeley. I love this town that I live in. And so we thought, let's like really Greeleyfy our name and make it about the city that we get to serve and the place that we get to make our product. And so, went into a deep dive into the history of alcohol in our city. And it's pretty wild. Like a really interesting prohibition city where they're actually like tunnels under our underground, under our downtown. And, it's pretty cool story. So one of the stories I found was about this vote in 1969, still the highest voter turnout per capita in the city's history. And which is interesting because our city still, back to the original discussion, the city I live in still hasn't legalized the sale of marijuana in our city. So we have no pot shops in Greeley.
Okay.
And so alcohol was real similar. We were one of the last cities in the entire state to legalize alcohol. And so when they took it to vote, largest voter turnout per capita in the city's history, only passed by 477 votes, which honestly may not be true. I've seen 3 different articles that have 3 different vote differentials, but 477 sounded the best. So that's what we went with. Yeah.
Well, it's on the internet now.
It's on the internet now. Yeah. No one's going to, who's going to find the right one?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's a cool story, man.
So that's where it comes from.
It's out there in the lore.
It is.
So you mentioned that you got a book coming out in 2 months.
I do. Yeah, I do. It's called I Know the Owner is the name of my book, which is, kind of an ongoing joke with our distillery. So I've worked, one of the things I talk about a lot is since we've opened the distillery, I've worked really, really hard to become a well-known person in our town. I sit on several different boards, attend all the Chamber of Commerce meetings, really involved with the Chamber of Commerce. And so the reigning joke is the amount of people that walk into our distillery and try to like, hey, I know the owner, trying to get something free or something out of it. And there's been times where, and this actually happened about a month ago, I was working behind the bar and a lady walked in and told me that she knew the owner.
Oh, really?
And do you now? Yeah, she goes, I know Matt. I was like, cool. I'll tell him you say hi. So... and so it's kind of a reigning joke, but the reality is that no phrase has been more important to my business than that phrase, because the more people that know me and like me and trust me, have allowed my business to grow and to be successful. And so the book is essentially my story from leaving 15-year career in ministry to opening a distillery to opening 6 other businesses and all the lessons I've learned along the way. Some of it's failures, some of it's mistakes, some of it's successes. It's very funny. I tell a lot of funny stories. I make fun of myself all the time. And so my hope with it is, I'm really passionate about entrepreneurs. My hope is to encourage entrepreneurs to keep chasing their dreams and trying to do stuff that they're passionate about. And it's tough. Being an entrepreneur is really hard. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's an incredible deal. So that's what's happening. October 6th. It comes out. It's up for pre-sale right now on Amazon, and so if people want to get on now, they can buy it. And I've created some incentive packages for buying my book, and I'll tell you guys because I think you will appreciate it in the context of this conversation. There's several like if you buy 1 book, you get this. If you buy 3 books, you get this. If you buy 10 books, you get this. But I threw one that's like way out there. If somebody out there buys 50 books and they let me know they buy 50 books, I'm going to get their name tattooed on my leg.
Whoa.
So
okay,
we'll see what happens.
Ben, there you go. Haven't you always wanted your name on another man's leg?
My name? How many chapters are we talking about?
We're 10 chapters.
10
it's
chapters.
100. No, you got to buy 50 books.
I know. I'm not going to read all 50, but
I don't think you're supposed to read.
Give them out to people.
Each one you read individually.
Yeah. Give it away. I put it in a file. I don't really care as long as you're buying 50 books.
Self-produced publishing?
No, I got published.
Oh,
I actually
wow.
got picked up. Yeah, pretty wild.
That's
I had no intention of getting published. I actually wrote it. So I get asked probably once a week to help somebody with their their entrepreneurial journey. Like, I've got this business idea. I want to try this. Can you help me with this? And like once a week, I'm sitting down with somebody talking to them about how to start a business, what it was like for me. And I found myself saying all the same stories, giving all the same advice, and thought I should just write it down. So I did, wrote it down, hired a guy to kind of help me. He didn't do any of the writing, but he coached me through the writing. So I wrote the whole thing. And at the end, and my intent was literally just to print off copies and just hand them to people. Like when they like, hey, can I meet you about starting a business? Yeah. Like, here's my story. You can read this, then we can get together. So we got done. He's been in the book industry for a while. When he got done, he said, yeah, I really think you have something here. Would you mind if I reached out to a couple agents and a couple publishers and see if we can't get it picked up? And so sure enough, we got picked up. It's not a huge publishing company. It's out of the East Coast called Kohler Books. But they took it on, and
yeah, but so still, man, that's cool.
It's crazy. I finished it a year ago. Like, the whole process is long. Like, I finished the book a year ago, and it comes out in October. So
you gonna do the audiobook version?
We will see. I would like to do audiobook. One of the big things through the book is I'm pretty severely dyslexic.
Okay.
And so, like, the idea of me having to read 175 pages into a microphone seems like a horrible idea. So, I'm sure, like, there's got to be tools out there, like AI, I'm sure could.
At this point, you could clone your voice, You'd lose the inflection, though. I don't think they're quite there on, like.
It might take you 3 years, but I guarantee you it'll probably be.
You can edit too. You just go one sentence at a time.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So. I know there's companies like through our publisher, they're not doing, they won't pay for the audiobook. I can do it if I want to, and then they'll help me distribute it. Wow. So they've given me some companies that'll do it, and I probably will, because I honestly don't read anything. I listen to everything.
Yeah. Well, and I always joke that I'm gonna eventually write that book one day, but I think that's probably why I just started doing podcasts, and to be like, yeah, just go watch the podcast.
Exactly.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Just to kind of, I had an out of body experience earlier on in this episode, and it's coming back about just the fact that, we're all three of us are getting to that age where we're the decision makers in our towns. You know what I mean? We're the ones that the youngins or whoever is looking up to for the direction of where society is going. We're getting to that age, and that's a weird, interesting thought in itself, to be like, oh, you guys are listening to us. You know what I mean? It's kind of scary.
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Kind of scary.
Yeah, there was when I was researching for the book, I found a statistic that was really interesting to me, and it was a stat that said that 7 out of 10 people that are graduating from college now would prefer to be their own boss than work a regular 9-to-5 job. So the desire for entrepreneurship and for doing what you guys are doing with podcasting and creating your own way, I think is significant right now. It's huge.
I think so. And what I've found with podcasting, and what one of my goals with the show is to really start connecting a Christian railroad of people just like you that can come on here and reach a like-minded individuals to promote your book or whatever the case may be. But, you have your big, I don't mean to throw Focus on the Family out there again, but you have your big, either charismatic or whatever, right? These more polished, but it's like, no, we need more of a down and dirty kind of Christian railroad, if you will, of so that we could be like, hey, all right, you want to come on ours, and you go on there, you touch base, and there's plenty audience out there, is what I'm getting at. There's plenty of fish in the sea to reach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
lots of fish.
Lots of fish.
Lots of fish.
Well,
I love it.
Thank you, sir. We sure do appreciate it.
Yeah,
very good. Once again, where can they get your book? Where are you guys located at with your distilleries?
And what states are you available in?
Yeah, so we are in, so obviously Colorado, and we've got 2 physical locations in Colorado, Greeley, Colorado, and Loveland, Colorado. And then we distribute to Colorado, Nebraska, I got to remember all this, Colorado, Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Iowa is where you can find all of our products.
Awesome.
And if you're in one of those states and it's not in your local liquor store, just reach out to us and we'll reach out to our distributor and say, get it in there. And then if you want to reach out to me, I set up an author website. It's mattestrin.net. So my name, MATTESTRIN.net. And that's got info on pre-ordering the book. A lot of resources if you're interested in starting your own business. I've got a lot of stuff on there to help people out with that.
Cool.
And then if you buy 50 books, you can reach out to me to give me the spelling of your name so I can get it tattooed on my leg.
Yeah, you better get that verified.
Dude.
That's right.
I guarantee you probably get it. Please reach out when you get that tattoo because it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I hope it does. And I mean, this is a Christian podcast. So you guys will appreciate this. It's not an original idea. I actually got the idea from Brandon Lake.
Okay.
I was watching him in an interview, and he said that for his very first album, he was doing a GoFundMe, and he was like, "Man, I don't remember what the amount was, but it was like, if you give $1,000 or $1,500, I'll get your name tattooed on my leg." And that guy's got tons of tattoos. But so sure enough, he said he's got like 20 names tattooed on his thigh of people. So I was like,
So this is not just for one person. This is multiple.
Anybody, yeah. So now it's going to be weird if it is one person. Like I hope it's multiple, because if it's just like one guy, you know what I mean? If it's one dude, you know, it's like, well, why is Ben on your leg?
Then you can tell him the story.
Yeah, then I can tell him the story. So
Yeah.
All right.
But I hope we get a few people to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Make sure to go check out everybody. Go check out his stuff and go on Amazon in 2 weeks. This will be out Monday, so quick turnaround.
Sweet.
What's the title of the book once more?
It's called I Know the Owner, and you can find it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble.
Oh, love it.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you very much. Everybody like and subscribe, get in the comments, give us some hate, give us some love, share.
Give us your best drinking story.
Ooh, I like that one. I like that call to action. Yeah, give us your best drinking story if you made it this far. See ya!